Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm going to just wait a few minutes to see if anyone joins, but if not, no worries. I've learned how to present even if no one is watching or if no one is tuning in. Because even if no humans want to tune in, I can still connect to higher dimensional beings and download advice or anything that needs to be channeled. And that's what I really felt like doing today, is just calling in the highest perspective on life and bring you guys some content from these higher dimensional beings. So I'm just here as a messenger, a conduit of sorts. And, I try to put my ego aside a little bit so that I can give you guys information without me having some sort of twist on it because of the way that my past experiences have been influenced by the certain topics that come up. That's what, because I have an Aquarius moon, so it helps me look at everything objectively and provide that to others so that we're getting all perspectives, all viewpoints on one particular matter. And that way there's no bias or judgment that's underneath the surface. But I hope you guys are all doing really well. And I'm also thinking of doing a little card reading for the collective to see what our guides want us to know at this particular time in the world. And this is just sage coming in. I just lit a bit of sage. It's so good. So, I wanted to talk about the differences between 3D, 4D, and 5D. And, it's really important for us to really be aware of what dimensional energy we're working with at any time during the day, so that we can peacefully integrate ourselves into that dimension so that we can understand others, where they're coming from, to reduce chaos and help others slowly ascend to the higher dimensions in a respectful way, in a helpful way that's healing for their journey. Because everyone is going at a different pace. Everyone is at a different frequency level within their bodies. Because the frequency that we're able to vibrate outwards, that we're able to cultivate from our body, is a reflection of the habitual behaviors that we partake in every single day, and the thoughts that we energize in our minds. So, because when we think of thoughts, the concept of thoughts, that's the air and the ether, essentially. So, it's really in the mind space where we're able to set the tone for the vibration that we want to inhabit and give to others and to reside in. So 3D, if we're having a 3D conversation with someone, it's gonna be very black and white, and we're gonna be able to know exactly what we need to say in order to not rock their boat and to keep them sort of asleep. And so this often looks like like, hey, how are you? I'm doing good. And then just like, basic questions like, how's the weather? And like, what do you do for work? And, just getting into like, if a 3D explanation of this coronavirus or what's happening in 2020 would be that the economy is failing all around the world. And that's what I hear as a 3D response to 2020. So when we're in 3D, usually we go there when we're, really grounded with the earth, when we're aware of our surroundings and who is immediately near us in this physical world. When we're eating food, we're able to ground into 3D because our body is it's residing at that frequency plane when we're doing those things. And I also heard that doing those tapping things, like when you're doing affirmations and tapping yourself, that also can ground you into 3D. And 3D is honestly a good place to be sometimes. And so, yeah, I'll definitely save this video and post it on YouTube. I just like doing lives because I get to see you guys and, help anyone in such a immediate way. And it's pretty effortless to do it this way, honestly. So 3D is like, you're like talking with your friends and family, like in this 3D existence, like you see them, they're there in front of you. And that's also 3D. So usually we have 3D conversations when we're in the third dimension because, we're seeing people that we see right in front of us. So we're going to most often keep it simple and, not try to rock the boat too much and just give the response that is expected. But, if we want to shake things up, if we want to surprise others and let them know that there's much more beyond, I really recommend, going straight to 5D and lifting your vibration up to 5D, which is all in the heart space. So it's all right here, all the energy in 5D. We can connect through opening all our chakras, and anchoring into the heart space, because that's the portal to the 5th dimension. And so I'm going to move back a little bit and explain the 4th dimension a little bit before I move on and explain more about the 5th dimension. So the 4th dimension is where we're kind of like unsure and we're just like questioning things, but we're like not really sure what the real truth is. Like things seem it's just not solid. Like you're not really sure what to do and what is right. And it's where all the conspiracy theorists come up, where you're just like, you're questioning it and you're like not sure if there's something more going on, but you're like kind of interested in like and you're really open to like what could possibly be gained from this new perspective instead of 3D. So in 4D, we are most susceptible to psychic attacks. And what's a psychic attack, okay? When you get like thoughts that are just like, don't seem like what your higher self would say, like your higher self would tell you like you shouldn't regret anything and that you are loved unconditionally. And no matter what happens, like you are still innocent at heart, and you just are doing what you feel is right in each and every moment. But if you are anchoring into 4D, unconsciously or consciously, most people are just in 4D unconsciously because you don't really want to be residing in the fourth dimension because you are very open and susceptible to different psychic attacks that can seem like some kind of voice or some thought that comes up where you're like, maybe I should create conflict right now, and that will resolve my problem. And the fifth dimensional response to that situation is, no, you should just show up as love in however you can. And trying to create conflict just because you're confused or you're emotionally overwhelmed, that is bringing you deeper into the vortex of 5 or 4D, because it's going to make you more confused, more flustered, and more susceptible to psychic attacks from other entities that are, you're not able to see with your eyes, your human physical eyes, because there are lots of energies that are all around us all the time, and it's nothing to fear, it's nothing to be afraid of. The awareness of it actually helps you transcend into 5D more, or you're either anchoring down into and grounding into 3D, because that's where you're safe. You're safe from all these psychic attacks when you've grounded into the earth and you're seeing your surroundings around you and you're staying in that present moment. But if you are endlessly questioning what the truth is, like, I don't really know, maybe I should go back to my ex even though he used to do all these terrible things to me that I witnessed over and over again, and you're questioning it, maybe he's changed and maybe I need to go back and that's gonna make me happy. And the truth is that you will never be able to reach that form of peace within your body unless you have anchored into that feeling in the present moment. Okay? Because if we haven't reached that state of feeling in the present moment that we are seeking to obtain from doing certain things, then you're in for a wild ride, because there's going to be a lot of trial and error. If we continually are searching for other people and other jobs and other circumstances that are supposedly gonna be the solution to our peace and acceptance with life, because these are simply things that we have to learn how to cultivate within our body in the present moment, at most times during the day. That's the practice. And that's actually the hard work that everyone wants to avoid, that everyone wants to bypass, because we tend to think that, okay, well, if I make, $3,000, maybe I'll actually be content. And the truth is that you won't be, and you're gonna want more, and you're gonna want more and more and more. So the goal of our spiritual practice is to learn how to feel that feeling right now. Feel it in your heart right now. And the best place to be of the dimensions for the collective right now is the fifth dimension. Okay? And, it gets it gets more like complicated, like, you know, not complicated, sorry, that's the wrong word, but it gets even better as you raise your vibration, you enter the higher dimensions. I feel like I've reached higher dimensions than the fifth dimension, but it wasn't for a very long time, and it was very like, it was short-lived, but it was like magical, you know. But the fifth dimension is all originating from the heart space. So if we want to connect to someone, it's either best to choose, I'm going to be in 3D and just work with the energy of, you know, not stirring the pot too much, or you choose to use your power and your choice and the strength that you have to anchor in 5D when you're, you know, living your life. Okay? Because 5D is actually going to help everyone evolve. It's going to bring the answer and the solution to everyone all the time. Because love is always the answer. And it may like, you know, vary in different circumstances, like how will love show up in certain situations. And sometimes it's like complex, or it's just not what you expected. And it's oftentimes the harder thing to do, because truly being the difference in being the person that chooses love among so many people that want to choose fear, and choose doubt and self-hate and all those terrible things and shame and guilt. Like, it is our job to be that person that isn't just another domino in the long chain of dominoes of fear, okay? Like, how can we respond to certain situations that's not reactive? That's not just like immediately choosing a place of, you know, like, it's like energizing your own trauma and wounds when we react to certain things that we see in our external environment right away. And we're immediately reacting. And most of the time when we feel that like need to like react right away to anything that's happening in our physical external reality, it's most of the time because it's originating from a fight or flight response. And that's fear-based. So next time like something comes up in your reality, process it first. Process what's going on, like, for a minute. Just listen. Just open your ears and listen for a minute. And you'll start to realize that, like, you're gonna feel triggered to immediately, like, say something along the lines of something you probably have done in a past life. It's probably happened several times in your past, in this life. And when we learn how to hold off on doing that for just a second and really see what's going on with what's happening and why this situation is coming up and why it's triggering, we're able to like actually heal the deeper parts of ourselves that are traumatized from our past or are wounded from certain situations that you've been through. And we're able to really like choose a response and choose the response that's actually going to help both you and the whatever other people are involved. And when we choose love, when we choose like, how can I like respond in a way that's loving, or even like work on the tone of raising your vibrational tone. And when I say this, it's like you can kind of feel when someone is saying something in a happy way or a positive way, or if someone is saying something in like a depressed way, like, oh, like, yeah, okay, like they're all mad and shit. Like, you can tell the difference, and those are the frequency ranges. However you're feeling immediately, like instinctively, after what you say or what you've heard other people say, that's setting the frequency tone, okay? So we need to be very, very observant of like where that frequency is, okay? Because it's really gonna help us formulate a response that is just a little bit like that can help that other person or ourselves, you know, bring things up a notch and raise the frequency just a little bit. But it's not going to be like, you know, all the way, like someone says something really sad and you're just like, that's fine, like you're fine, no worries. And I wouldn't like go, what I'm saying is you don't want to go like too high up. You don't want to like jump like all the way up. You want to kind of slowly walk up the mountain, okay? It's a slow, steady, gradual raise. And you can do this with yourself more like in your own solitude and like practice it. Because if we can learn how to do this, like everything's gonna change for the entire collective. Because most humans are so reactive and we immediately have to defend ourselves. Like we're being attacked all the time. And that's a fear-based response that is embedded within our bodies, in our cellular DNA. So we have to dig deep to really let this stuff come up to the surface so we can see in our reality and be like, that was actually like a reaction due to my unconscious programming, not really something that I feel like would actually assist in the conversation. That would help both you and I ascend our vibrational energy. So a lot of the time we are experiencing relationships where we're just keeping the vibration just in 3D. We're just like, you know, like, how's your job? Like, where did you work? Here and here. And, you know, like, did you like it? And like, nah. And, you know, like, do you want to, like, do anything else with your life? And, you know, you're just like, maybe, like, I don't know. And that's like, just staying, like, in this 3-dimensional frequency where, like, where there's no progress for us as a collective, or you especially. Like, we have to consciously choose where we want to go in our frequency range. It's not something that just comes to us just like naturally, you know? I mean, I think that if you were born in a very nice environment, maybe it's something that actually it does come naturally. And I think that there's always different angles for any type of individual. There's a different situation and reality that's going on. But for most people on Earth, the majority of people, I feel like most people are just like staying in their comfort zone in that 3-dimensional state. And, you know, what I wanted to come on here to share is that, like, we have to consciously be intending to choose the 5th dimension of love, of expansion, our lives, our physical reality, our paycheck, our food source. Everything will expand and grow and ascend if we choose a fifth dimensional response to everything in our reality that comes up. So, you know, we can, like, you know, choose whatever we want to choose. Everyone has their own free will. There's nothing like, I don't want you guys to think that I don't accept people that choose to, like, lay low and stay in that third dimensional energy. I think that there's a process for everyone, and everyone has their own purpose, destiny, path, and it's really important to look into, like, what your purpose and destiny is, and that will really help you in the future, because, or not the future, but it'll help you right now, because you'll really start to realize how important you are, like how magical your life is meant to be, because it's like phenomenal. Like, once I got into astrology, I learned so much about not even astrology, but all the self-education of, you know, numerology, astrology, and other ways. There's, like, the Mayan calendar that you can look into too as well. And I feel like, you know, the more that we, like, discover who we really are and what, like, we're really meant to do here, and, like, why we came to Earth, why we chose to be here in this physical human body, we're gonna be like, wow, this is actually amazing. And there's so much that's out there for me that I have just been holding myself back from, like, until this point. And we start to realize, like, our special powers. Like, we all have our own unique powers, and everyone has their own special flair to this human consciousness. And, you know, it's all about discovering, like, what is mine? Like, what is it that I can do that no one else can do? What is it that I am that nobody else is? And we're gonna start to really dive deeper into that as we move forward as a collective, because I can tell that most of the collective now is, and I have a Pisces sun, Aquarius moon, so I just feel the energy and just channel and call in, like, the highest insight from my guides. And I feel like everyone is going through, like, a physical detox, a physical rearrangement of our DNA on many levels. You know, like, there's a lot of, like, toxic trauma, like, deeply embedded into our psyche from when we were, like, children. You know, we witnessed a lot as children and in this sick society that we grew up in. And it's left scars, like, deep inside of us, on our hearts, like, right over our hearts. We've created this callus because we're just like, no, like, I want to keep myself safe because I don't know who's gonna come into my home or, like, steal something or shoot me or do whatever. And that is what we're, like, actually purging right now as a collective. And it's tough. It's exhausting, actually. And we are, like, honestly just, like, I just want everyone to hang in there right now, because I feel like if you don't want to do, like, and be so productive all the time, if you want to just, like, do what feels right for your heart at this time, please do so. because that's really the solution. Like I said, the fifth dimension is always the heart space and always the solution to everything. To everything. So right now we're like, oh, if the fifth dimension's the solution, then I have to rip off all of these calluses and all of the trauma and pain in my body. All of that has to be released. And it has to be rewritten with new experiences. Because the way that we can like really anchor in this fifth dimensional state of being into our physical bodies is by continually responding with love and responding with care and affection and compassion and harmony, and really like listening to other people instead of just waiting for them to be done till you start talking again. Because that's not love. That's ego. That's ego. So we have to be really clear on like how we're coming off, if we're in a relationship or talking to friends or our family. With Venus in Cancer right now, we're going to be really sensitive to our relationships with our family and with the people that are really close to us, that nurture us and that we nurture ourselves. And we're going to be able to really feel what they're feeling and have empathy, okay? Having empathy is so essential for our growth as a collective. We have to listen with 2 ears and then talk with 1 mouth, okay? Because that's why we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth, is because listening is so much more essential than it is to just say what you've been what you think needs to be said. Because a lot of the time, it's an emotional reaction to unconscious programming from our young life. And we've lived for a long time. If you're on this live and you're past the age of 15, you have a lot of programming. And so if that's the case, no worries. We just have to really focus on questioning why these responses are happening and where they're coming from, where they're stemming from within our bodies, okay? We got to really face ourselves now. And it's not the easiest thing to do at all. It's really hard. We have to face ourselves in the mirror and really look at how am I creating this reality? Because we have been this whole time. And if it's conscious or unconscious, we've been creating it. And so we have to take responsibility. And we have to figure out even though we're taking responsibility, it doesn't mean that we should feel shame for having gone through a sexual assault or, bullying when we're children, or being shamed or shunned as a child. We shouldn't feel that guilt, because if we accept that, if we accept that past trauma, then we are internalizing it. We are swallowing that pill, that blue pill of lies, right? We're swallowing the blue pill if we continually suppress these traumas. Because, if we just for example, let's say that something went wrong. I watched this in a show actually that taught me about this. they did it in this little skit, and this boy was like trying to work on his meditation skills and bring himself to a higher frequency. And, you know, like he had to leave to help save his friends from an attack. And so his friends were like, hey, did you like finish your training? Like, how was that? And he chose to basically say, it's all good, even though he ran away from it completely to save his friends. And he didn't get to finish his whole training. And because he chose to tell his friends, it was all fine, it all worked well, it's all good. Yes, this was Avatar. That's funny that you got it. Okay. But anyway, that show has some serious lessons in it. So if you know, are looking to like deepen your spiritual practice, but also just like want to chillax and you don't want to like strain yourself at this time of the year, or, you know, if you're feeling like under the weather due to like all these energies that are happening, you know, just observe and analyze the things around you. But anyway, let me continue the story. Sorry about that. Basically, he said like, he was like, no, everything's good and it's all fine. And in that instant, I felt like, because he said that, because he chose to tell his friends that the lie, and because he didn't want to, because from his ego, he actually just wanted to look good and not look like he had to like go do something because of an emergency, and he didn't get to finish his training. Because he like swallowed that and was just like, it's all good. He internalized shame. He internalized guilt. He swallowed that pill. So we have to be very mindful of what we accept and what we allow, how we allow ourselves to respond. It's really important for us to stand our ground and to really like speak our truth from an authentic standpoint, because most of the time when we speak our truth, everyone, like most people, will understand, and they'll actually, and if we really give them like the reasoning why we chose that truth, to speak that truth, they'll actually start to like maybe grow themselves and ascend and learn more about how they can stand in that power and how they can stand in their truth and not have to feel like they need to be someone that they're not. Because we're imperfect being. We're imperfect just being human, okay? And when we have acceptance for this, it really helps us with life in general, because we're not like holding ourselves to all these expectations. When we have all these expectations that we need to be successful and we need to have $100 million in the bank and we need to have the perfect life in general, we are setting ourselves up for disappointment and suffering right away, okay? Because life was not meant to be like that. We didn't come to Earth to get everything that we want, okay? That's the harsh truth that no one wants to hear, but it's true. We didn't come to Earth to just have whatever we want and, you know, supply all of our desires. The reason we came to Earth is to raise our consciousness and to ascend our frequency to higher levels and to raise our vibration to higher dimensions, okay? And, you know, like, we're gonna get sidetracked here and there. we're going to get distracted sometimes, and get into situations where we are not feeling like we're in our purpose. And that's the whole process of being human. Because when the roots of the tree can grow deeper into the earth, we're able to learn more about the darkness. Okay? And as the roots grow deeper into the earth, the tree grows higher into the sky. And this is happening simultaneously. So we're actually supposed to experience deeper feelings of darkness, and we have to look at deeper parts of ourselves to actually grow to higher levels of being and to experience better things in life. So, to really like anchor in our higher spirit, our higher self. That is someone who is, or that is basically like when the tree grows taller. Sorry, I gotta go outside because I'm getting distracted. Look at this beautiful tree. So this tree, its roots go very deep. Just seeing like how tall it grows, and like that's exactly how our spirit operates. And the spirit becomes more powerful, more noticeable, and it's able to give more love because of how much taller and stronger it's able to grow. And the only way, and when I say like it's able to give more love, is I see like the leaves as basically like the love-giving parts of the tree, because it's giving the oxygen to the world. It's sharing its love. And we're able to grow more leaves as humans, and we're able to bear fruit. We're able to create things, create fruit, and give love with our breath, with the way that we speak, with the way that we think. When we are able to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the earth. Okay? So we have to experience more darkness to actually allow our spirit to become more full and to fully anchor in our highest self. So that was a great channeling, and I'm honestly a little taken aback of what came through. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I'm wishing you all so much abundance and blessings and love. And my love is unconditional. It doesn't matter if I follow you or not. It's always there. And the reason why I like to keep things simple with social media is because it gets like, there's so many different entities like that just are on the internet, and I like to keep it really simple and to make sure that the people that I interact with are actually people that care about me and actually have unconditional love for me that I do for them. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining today, and I'm wishing you all so much of my infinite love. And I'm going to be posting this on YouTube, so if you guys want to see the whole video, I'll let you know when it's all uploaded. And also, if you guys are interested in any astrological natal chart readings, where I basically channel in and break down what your entire chart means and what your potential purpose is in this life, I'm able to guide you through what's essentially saying with the symbols and the houses, as well as I do Reiki energy healings. And I also do, I added this little session where I can teach people how to
learn how to grow younger as they age, because it's actually a science. And I say this because, I'm an Aquarius moon, so I like to break it down to a science. And as much as it is raising your vibration, there's also a lot of healing techniques that are not like super obvious to everyone, So I like to share that. And what else session do I have? I also do pranayama and breathing techniques to help stabilize or amplify your energy, whether you want it to be more extroverted and fiery like the breath of fire, or internal and reflective and grounding like a slower yin sort of energy with your breath. And all my services are donation based, so I don't expect anything from anyone. I just want to give love, and I want to connect with people that want to heal themselves and to work together to heal, because life is always a continual process of healing. So especially as we enter this Virgo season, we're going to be very, very aware of our personal physical health. And it's not something that's going to be fixed in a day. Like, we can just fix our vibration, in the moment, in the present moment. We can just that's spiritual healing. Physical healing is a whole nother game, and it takes discipline and patience. And yeah, if you guys are interested in any services, you can just click on the link in my Instagram bio and press the link of Crystalline Healing Services. And yeah, you could schedule a session with me. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I'm going to rest my voice because I'm feeling a little tired. Thank you guys so much. God bless.